Hello and a very warm welcome to Game On. I'm Neha Bhardwaj Alter. Today on the show, we get you Rohan Bopanna's reaction to his magical performance at the Australian Open. But let's begin with India's loss to England in the first test at Hyderabad. What seems to now have gone wrong with Team India? How is it that India were beaten at home after taking a first innings lead of 100+ runs? Let's get straight into it with the question. Is it one of England's greatest wins in India? England skipper Ben Stokes has rated it as the best test victory under his captaincy. But the manner in which a team few had backed to succeed in India's tough conditions beat favourites India inside 4 days in Hyderabad does beg the question of where this 28-run victory stands in terms of England's finest, because for 16 consecutive test series dating back to 2012, which is when the last time a visiting team landed in India and won a series, the home team has not lost a series. And when Stokes' team was bowled out for 246 on day one, which ended with India 119 for the loss of 1 wicket, the cards were firmly stacked in favour of the hosts. But some reckless batting from India on day two, which saw all 6 wickets gifted to England through a mix of loose shots, overconfidence and one sloppy run out, proved a turning point in the test match, with head coach Rahul Dravid identifying that India left 70 or 80 runs out there with that display. What followed, despite India having taken a lead of 190 runs, was the stuff of dreams as Ollie scored a match-changing 196 full of sweeps and reverse sweeps against Ravichandran Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel, which left Dravid to comment that he had never seen an innings like that in these conditions and against such high-quality spin bowling. And India's skipper Rohit Sharma marvelling at Pope's risky but highly effective approach. Thanks to Pope's exceptional 100, England were able to take the match into day 4 and set India a target of 231, which, given how inexperienced England's bowling was, made worse by the injury to Jack Leach, seemed like an achievable score on a track that was far from a square turner. But once again, a familiar problem against spin bowling came to the fore as one after the other, India's batters succumbed to Tom Hartley and Joe Root. The tall left-arm spinner Hartley, who'd been hammered in the first innings, picked off the wickets of Rohit, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill, Akshar, KS Bharat, Ashwin and Mohammad Siraj to finish with 7 for 62. The 5th best figures by a debutant bowler against India, while Root's part-time off-spin accounted for KL Rahul to give the former England captain 5 wickets in the match. The result in Hyderabad puts England 1-0 up in the series and leaves India with plenty to ponder ahead of the second test in Vizag this week. The loss means that Rohit's team has now failed to win its last 3 test matches at home, following a shock loss to Australia at Indore, a draw in Ahmedabad and now this defeat in Hyderabad. Now, the news that's just come in. Team India has suffered 2 big blows, as star batter KL Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja have been ruled out of the second test against England starting Friday in Vizag. According to the BCCI release, Jadeja sustained a hamstring injury during play on day 4 of the first test in Hyderabad, while Rahul complained of a right quadriceps pain. With 3 more games to play after the game in Vizag, the players are being monitored by BCCI's medical team. The BCCI said in a statement, and I quote, Mr. Ravindra Jadeja and KL Rahul have been ruled out of the second IDFC First Bank test against England in Vizag starting February 2nd, 2024. Jadeja sustained a hamstring injury during play on day 4 of the first test in Hyderabad, while Rahul complained of a right quadriceps pain. The BCCI medical team is monitoring the progress of the duo. Sarfaraz Khan, Saurabh Kumar and Washington Sundar have been added to India's squad for the second test, with India trailing 0-1 in the 5-match series after suffering a 28-run defeat in that series opener. So, Sundar, Sarfaraz, they were part of India A squad for a 3-match test series against the England Lions. Sarfaraz smashed a brilliant 161 as India A defeated England Lions by an innings and 16 runs in the second unofficial match in Ahmedabad. Sundar, on the other hand, picked 2 wickets in that match while also scoring a half-century. Now, coming back to India's loss to England in Hyderabad. While India's loss to England can indeed be termed as an upset, given how this whole series is the toughest test for Stokes and the Bazball concept, What may not surprise many Indian cricket watchers is the manner in which some of India's batters fell to spin. Indian batters have routinely struggled to cope with unknown spinners, most recently seen last year during the Border Gavaskar Trophy when the inexperienced Todd Murphy took 7 wickets on Test debut and finished the format series with 14 wickets, including the big one of Virat Kohli 4 times. His senior but uncapped spin bowling duo during that series, Matthew Kuhneman, he took 9 wickets in 3 tests, including 6 in his second match, helping Australia beat India at Indore. And now, Tom Hartley, with all of 20 first-class matches before he landed in India, he took 9 wickets on Test debut, of which 2 came came on day 4 in Hyderabad. So 7 wickets on the last day. Hartley's wickets include those of Shubman Gill in both innings and KL Rahul on day 2 when the batter was in 86, while arguably India's best player of spin, Shreyas Iyer, was out to Rehan Ahmed and Jack Leach, bringing focus on the trio of batters expected to take India through this WTC cycle and into the next, given the impending retirements of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Gill in particular has struggled to cope with spin, with 8 of his 16 dismissals at home being to spinners, and technical flaws continue to be exposed, as evident by the manner in which the youngster has fallen in these test matches. In the Hyderabad test, Gill played across the line in the first innings, and in the second innings he played at the ball with the hard hands to give a catch to Silly Point, and his place now looks most under threat in the 11, given the nature of tracks expected in the series as well as Kohli's return after the second test. Rahul, promoted to number 4 in Kohli's absence, had some issues against spin on day 2, but batted well enough to get to within 14 runs of a century, only to throw it away with a very bad shot of Hartley, which sent the ball straight to the lone fielder at deep wicket. Then, on day 4, Rahul went back and across to a ball from root, which had him LBW. It was this kind of poor application to spin that saw Rahul dropped after 2 home test matches against Australia, from which he averaged 12 and was out to spin each time. The man who has short ball problems outside of India but who had done exceedingly well in Asia before this test match, Shreyas Iyer, was out to spin in both innings. On day 2, having gotten himself to 35, Iyer inexplicably chose to slog sweep the leg spin of Rehan Ahmed very early into a new session and was taken by the fielder at deep mid-wicket. On day 4, Iyer edged Jack Leach to slip, which was his 10th dismissal to spin in home test matches. Such wickets played a big role in India losing this test match to England, and with the chances of turning pitches for the next 4 matches, these 3 batters will have to apply themselves far better. While the conversations around what went wrong with India and are Indian batters not adept at playing spin at home, whether they were too defensive, these will continue to be posed by cricket fans. Indian coach Rahul Dravid believes it was because of how the batters left runs on the field in the first innings. He said, and I quote, "I thought we left probably 70 runs on the board in the first innings." You know, I think in our first innings, when conditions were pretty good to bat in on day 2, I thought in the kind of situations we get ourselves into, some good starts and we didn't really capitalize. Dravid said we didn't get 100, we didn't get somebody getting a really big 100 for us. So in some ways in India, I just felt we left those 70, 80 runs back in the hut in the first innings. Second innings is always going to be challenging. It's one of those things that, it's tough. It's not easy to chase 230 and it's not done very often. He also was asked about this generation of batters and whether they struggle more against spin. And he said, and I quote, "Look, I wouldn't be too harsh." He said Rahul missed a really short ball. It just stopped. One of those things can go straight into deep mid-wicket's hands. But like I said earlier, I thought even in the first innings, we could have converted some of those starts and probably got us closer to 500 and completely sealed the game. But having said that, I thought 190 was a really good score, to be very honest. But then again, not many teams come in and score 420 in the third innings in India. Not many players go 196. So, well done. He was also left hugely impressed by Ollie Pope. And when asked about England's batting approach, he said, I haven't seen a better exhibition of sweeping and reverse sweeping than Ollie Pope. ever in these conditions against that quality of bowling. Having said that, for us now, it's important that we respond and come up with some plans and some strategies and see how we can maybe make him play those shots from probably even more difficult lengths and be even more disciplined and even more meticulous with our execution, because I thought a little bit our execution went off. Not by much, credit to him, but we were a little bit off, and hopefully in the next test match, if we get our execution right, then I hope he makes a mistake. With this loss, India have slipped 3 spots to 5th place in the World Test Championship points table. The 2-time World Test Championship finalist was second behind Australia before the test, but the result saw them slide below South Africa, New Zealand and Bangladesh as their points percentage dropped from 54.16 to 43.33. India were briefly table toppers too when they had beaten South Africa inside 2 days in Cape Town earlier this month to draw the series 1-all. But their stay at the top was cut short when Australia completed their series win against Pakistan 2 days later to claim the top spot. India have so far won 2 and drawn 1 of their 5 tests in the 2023-25 WTC cycle, while losing 1 each to South Africa and England. Now, this is a shocking story. Former South Africa captain Dean Elgar, who announced his retirement from international cricket earlier this month, he's made a shocking revelation from the Proteus tour of India in 2015. Elgar claimed that former Indian captain Virat Kohli spat at him during the first test of a 4-match series at the IS Bindra Stadium in Mohali. Notably, the series against South Africa was Kohli's first at home as captain. Elgar also revealed that he threatened to hit Kohli had he done the same thing again. This is what he said. He says, those wickets were jokes, like playing on that surface there, and I came into bat and I was actually like holding my own against Ashwin and what's his name, Jadeja, obviously referring to Jadeja. And Kohli, he spat at me. Elgar said on Banter with the Boys. It's a podcast for Better Way South Africa's YouTube channel. And then Elgar goes on to say, I said to him, if you do that, I will beep you with this bat. This is using a local profanity. After being asked if Kohli knew the meaning of the word, Elgar replied, yes, he did, because De Villiers was his teammate at RCB, so he understood. And I said, if you do that, I will dash on this field, I'll absolutely knock you out. And then there were more profanities. He said that mimicking the Indian, and then he said, you are barking up the wrong tree. Anyways, we are in India, so you've got to be a little bit cautious. Now, Elgar, however, revealed that Kohli apologized to him for his behavior over a few drinks when India toured South Africa in 2017-2018. He said, and I quote, 2-3 years later, Kohli pulled me aside and said, listen, can we go and have a drink after the series? I want to apologize for my actions. So we drank till 3 in the morning. This is when he used to drink, he concluded. Okay. Now moving on, while England upset in India in a ripper of a contest in Hyderabad, earlier on Sunday there was another memorable victory in faraway Brisbane, which ended in a humdinger as rookie fast bowler Shamar Joseph bowled West Indies to their first test victory in Australia since 1997. Yes, that's right. West Indies had not beaten Australia on their home soil for 27 years, which makes this win so special, and one that ensured West Indies drew the series 1-all with Australia. The hosts began the 4th day at the Gabba, requiring a further 156 runs to win, and West Indies needing 8 wickets for an unlikely victory. Leading the way was the rookie pacer Shamar Joseph in his second test, and who had the day before been cleared of a broken toe sustained after a blow from Mitchell Starc. Joseph bowled through pain to take a remarkable 7-wicket haul, thus bowling West Indies to victory by 8 wickets as the hosts were all out in pursuit of 216. His wickets included that of previous test man of the match Travis Head for a king pair, and then final wicket of Josh Hazlewood, whose bowl all ends up to send an ecstatic Joseph on a run around the ground with his jubilant teammates in pursuit. He said, and I quote, tears would have come to my eyes, but I already cried when I got my 5-wicket haul. and Joseph, in fact, was named both man of the match and man of the series. He also said it's just happiness. When was the last time we won in Australia? I can't even remember. Today is a big day for us. And it was indeed a huge day for West Indian cricket as well as for Shamar Joseph and his team. Okay. Moving on to tennis. World number 1 at 43 and a Grand Slam champion at 43. Rohan Bopanna capped a rare week on Sunday with his maiden Grand Slam men's doubles title as he won the Australian Open and Andrea Vavasori. Bopanna had assured himself of that number 1 position in the doubles rankings and got India's 4th highest civilian honour, the Padma Shri. He likes to call it level 43 instead of age 43 when everybody alludes to how old he is, but it has taken him 61 attempts with 19 different partners to get to where he's got to, which is winning the first men's doubles Grand Slam title, and of course is looking to set more records. Bopanna now tops the Open era list for the most attempts made before winning a men's doubles Grand Slam title, surpassing American Rajiv Ram's 58. He spoke to the media about his incredible triumph. Listen in.
Level 43 feels like the number 1 player in the world. You know, it's a dream come true. It's you know, when I was on the court talking about it, you know, there's so many thoughts which are going through your mind. It feels like the mind is about to explode. You know, the years and years of sacrifices, the hard work, whatever, you know, each and every athlete goes through. It just feels like so much of weight. Everything is just taken off his shoulders, and I think automatically that was one of the reasons you feel free. And I was, you know, lying down on the ground when that match point finished. It's an incredible, magical feeling, and really, really proud, you know, to have, you know, achieved this Grand Slam men's doubles title. Yeah, it's this definitely is the best time of my life. I mean, started off with that 500th win. Then, you know, as you mentioned, the Padma Shri Award, I mean, to be recognized, you know, in the country as being the 4th highest civilian award, and now going to be ranked number 1. And then to topping it all off to winning a Grand Slam men's double title. It's been incredible of a week. I mean, not very often that, or never in my career, I would say that during a tournament I was overwhelmed with so many wonderful support and messages, and of course after yesterday it has been magical. So much of love, so much of encouragement, support from each and everyone, including you know, the Prime Minister himself. So it is truly amazing, such a great feeling, and you know, I'm really looking forward on you know, coming back home and celebrating with each and everyone, you know, back home as well. That's all long gone. There's nothing can be done. I'm just living the moment, and that's the way, you know, I've always enjoyed my tennis. You know, just be present of what you're doing, and you know, those matches have just grown me as a player. And today, I think those experiences have what has shaped me and my career, you know, to where I am today.
He also spoke about his future plans. Is Paris on his mind? Does he see himself playing in the Paris Olympics? Listen into what he had to say.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be great that we have a representation in the men's doubles. I mean, who I'm going to play with is yet to be confirmed, yet to be decided. I think June is the deadline. So I need to, you know, pick a partner. Mixed doubles will not happen because there is no girl who's ranked high enough for us to qualify. So the only event currently guaranteed to be qualified is the men's doubles. So the French Open really won't, you know, make any difference in terms of preparing for Olympics, because I will be playing with Matt Ebden at French Open, and I won't be playing with an Indian partner. So, you know, after that, whoever I play with, I just need to try and hope that we can get at least 1 or 2 tournaments in, which is tough. It's currently the guys ranked around 60, 70. It's tough to get into a 500 or 1,000. So hoping that they improve their ranking, and so we can get into maybe one or two events, just before Olympics. But having said that, just need to figure out who I'm going to be playing with. My future plans is, first thing first, I'm coming back home on in a couple of days, and I'm back in Bangalore, going to be there for a few days. The next tournament is going to be Dubai, Indian Wells, and Miami. So I have some time, at home. This is the moment to really enjoy, and with the family, friends, and everyone back home. This is a monumental moment for me, which I've always been dreaming and wanting to get to. So I'm extremely happy that I've achieved this, and looking forward to celebrating and enjoying it with everyone back home.
Italy's Yannick Sinner is the youngest Australian Open men's champion since Novak Djokovic won the first of his 10 Melbourne Park titles in 2008. Sinner has joined the 20-year-old, in fact, Carlos Alcaraz in the Grand Slam Winners' Club, and leads a clutch of players of a similar age coming through. Watch this.
At 22, Yannick Sinner is already a Grand Slam champion. He's the youngest to win the Australian Open men's singles since 2008, when Novak Djokovic had bagged the coveted title. On Friday last, Sinner had stunned Djokovic in the semi-finals. 2 days later, he walked away with the trophy, a hard-to-believe moment for the new Australian Open champions.
Yeah, there were obviously so many emotions in my head. The hard work and the sacrifices I've done throughout my career, and sharing this moment with my team was maybe the best feeling I've had until now, and nothing. It's great emotions. I was just happy. Yesterday I still maybe couldn't believe, and now I start to realize it. So it's a great feeling.
Sinner joins 20-year-old Carlos Alcaraz in the Grand Slam Winners' Club and spearheads a clutch of players of a similar age coming through. Even though Sinner beat the 24-time Grand Slam champion Djokovic in the semi-finals, he was not ready to invite comparisons.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think about that. It's his different league. I'm just happy that I have this trophy for this year, and then we see what's coming. But there is still a lot of work to do, but I will enjoy my process, and then we see what I can achieve in the future.
Being forced to come from 2 sets down in a Grand Slam final would test the nerves of any player. But Sinner dealt with the pressure in an ice-cool manner with which he has met all success and failure over his young career.
So it's quite unpredictable what's coming in the future, but still it's nice to be part of this generation. I think the next generation is something what the sport needs, and it's also a little bit of a game changer, with a sense of everything. It goes fast, and so let's see.
Although he fell in celebration at the Rod Laver Arena court after converting championship point, there was no huge outpouring of emotion, as Sinner marked the biggest victory of his career yet.
In the beginning of a season, you never know what's coming and what's happening. But I felt quite prepared and ready to do well here. Obviously, winning the tournament is something unbelievable. But I just tried to take day after day, as I said there in Kuyong, and trying to be ready for the biggest challenges, and obviously playing against the best players in the world. So I'm really happy how I performed here, and let's see what's coming in the future.
Sinner said he celebrated his dream start to the new season in an understated fashion, a meal with his close-knit team in the early hours of Monday. However, it would be straight back to work as he looked to build on his breakthrough.
A defiant performance by Ten Hag's men. Now standing at 7 feet 4 inches, Satnam Singh is making his way into professional wrestling.
We are getting more good news for India.